Hello and welcome to yet another exciting episode of BB Uncovered, an 80-year odyssey. This is a podcast series specially curated by the Movement Studio to celebrate Dr. Biodun Shobanjo. Today with me on the teal couch is none other than Mr. Kayode Oluwasona, who is the Vice Chairman of 1201 Brandsway Limited. He joined Insight Communications Limited in 2001 as a Senior Account Director. He spent 10 years working with the organization. He was also a former past president of AAAN. Mr. Oluwasona, Mr. K, Sake, whatever it is, I decided to call you for the purpose of this podcast. It's very nice to have you with us today.
My pleasure.
And we're here to talk about someone that you have worked with for a decade.
Yeah.
That is a long time.
Yeah, it
but
is.
what I usually would ask people is, what is your first encounter with BB? What's your BB story? Tell us.
Wow, Mr. Biodun Shobanjo.
Yes.
You see, many of us
You can call him BB.
Many of us call him Mr. Biodun Shobanjo
Okay.
because for so long he held on to the title Mr.
Really?
He didn't add anything to it.
Okay, we're using our creative
So
rights
it's-
to call him
yeah.
BB on this
So,
show.
BB, yeah.
Yes.
I think if I have to recall, my first encounter with him, he was actually the MD of our agency because
Okay.
then I was on the client side.
Okay,
Yes,
client side, you were working
Yes,
with.
I was working with Lever Brothers that time.
Got you.
Okay, and then of course Insight was one of the 5 agencies, that time that the company worked.
I
with.
see. Okay.
Now I left Lever Brothers and joined Smith Klein Beecham.
Okay.
Again, Insight was an agency working with Smith Klein.
Insight
Beecham.
was everywhere.
Was everywhere. So my first encounter with him
Yeah.
was, I think, 1999 or thereabout. 99 about that. There was this meeting that the managing director of GSK, now GSK, was Smith Klein Beecham
Yes.
at that time, called the meeting, wanted to meet the agency. And then Mr. Shobanjo was now there, the CEO, head of Insight. He made an extremely indelible impression on me. I will not forget that day. He's a very immaculate, smart looking.
Yes.
You won't meet him and forget you met him. So he was there, confident, talking. And then he was giving us analogies, analysis. He was plying his trade. And I kept looking in awe. Say, wow, what
is
manner
this
of
person?
man is this? I remember very well he brought out his pen. He said, I have a Mont Blanc. It's not the same thing as a Schiffer. And he kept on, and I said, oh my, this guy just finished me. So from that time,
Yes.
there is no way I would have had an opportunity to work with him.
Yes,
I
and you
would
would
have
take
said no.
it.
So
Got
that
you.
was my first
I love it. So
kind of impression.
from that period to
Yes.
when you started working, so tell us, how did you then transit from your client side business to Insight?
Fine. Interestingly, then I had spent like 10 years or more on
Okay.
the client side, and of course was FMCG, from Lever Brothers, then to Smith Klein Beecham, where I was on analgesics and all of that. So I got bored, maybe because I was young,
Restless.
Yeah, restless. I said 10 years doing the same, but I still wanted to be in marketing. That's the
Okay.
truth. But I just said to myself, maybe the next thing you need to do is to market in a different environment. So I wanted a service brand.
Yeah.
That was, strategically I looked at where I was going and I said, okay, you've carried food products, in Lever Brothers, I've carried Panadol, I've carried, so I said, what if I go into services? It could have been, let's say, an airline, could have been a bank, could have been an insurance product. So I was looking to change into marketing in a service environment.
Gotcha.
So I went out and I just saw an advert, simple advert. Oh, are you such a firebrand, kind of marketing person? Are you this? Are you that? Can you manage a brand asset of 500 million naira? All of these things that you put in an advert to catch people. And I said, wow, this is looking like me. And I applied. I never knew it was going to be an agency. I never knew. That's the truth. So when the invitation came, I said, okay, come and appear for an interview. And all that. They ended up being Insight. And I said, okay, wow, this is what they say. Okay, I won't speak Yoruba on this set now.
You can you say it and we'll interpret it.
When they say ara or bomb lower.
Okay, interpret.
So that's the
Ara
challenge.
or bomb.
No, I think ara is like thunder.
Okay.
And then you have this want to bomb a place.
Okay.
And as we are doing it,
So it
this
assisted.
thunder now exactly. So
Got
it's
you.
almost like, oh, so this is actually where I was going, and now this has just come. So
Mm.
it's almost like things are working in tandem. Okay, so now I appeared for the interview, and it was from there smooth sailing. It went very well. I met different people. Oluwasona was then he was the CSD then, and then I got in there.
Yeah.
But you see, before I even got in there,
Yes.
as a senior brand manager or whatever, almost not once, not twice, I'd met different people, and they would just ask me, do you know Biodun Shobanjo? Do you know Biodun Shobanjo? So it was almost like...
So he was an institution.
He was an institution.
Got you.
If I can mention names, some of them are late now. The Halabi that died, I had some stuff with 7-Up bottling. The next thing he would say, do you know Biodun? I would not know why they would ask me that question. And then it now happened now that, this is now Insight. And I said, I'm at Taton Sibinio.
Yes,
so
sir.
I actually joined. and the truth of it is that was a place where I spent longest
in
my
your
being an
trajectory.
employee.
Yes.
All my work for people life. 10 years in one place. No.
Which brings me to the question. So what
Yes.
was it about him, his values, his character, his personality that led you to staying that long working with him?
Now, I would say BB, as you said.
Yes,
Now
we are
adopt
allowed.
that.
We have given you the ticket.
Okay. BB is an enigma of some sort. So if you ask me what made me stay a whole decade or spend a whole decade of my life with him, I would say I saw in him somebody who knew where I was headed. I saw in him somebody who is actually a true leader. I saw in him somebody who truly deserves to have proteges, who is not a fake, follow me for my selfish reasons, kind of person. No, it was genuinely true to the vision of, yes, building a name for himself, but then genuinely also helping others come up, realize their full potentials. So when I joined, I saw a man that is completely professional. And if I must say, the attribute that beats me most is ability to balance strictness with compassion is phenomenal. I don't know if you understand that.
I totally get
Mr.
you.
Shobanjo, that
It would
is
demand
what I would
of
say all the
you,
time. It would
yes.
demand of you. He's a no-nonsense man. He's a strict man by all standards. But the truth of it is he's as compassionate as anybody can be. So I saw that balance and I said, when it is work, you see
It's work.
mode. When it is play
Full
mode.
play.
That is the man. So it wasn't really difficult. So we've had times of, everything, tough times, challenging times, easy times, hard times, and all of that. But my 10 years in that organization were 10 years very well spent and very well used.
Fantastic. I love the way you put it so deep.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of your work in that period. I'm sure you have some memorable campaigns.
Yeah.
You might want to share a story or two with us. The whole essence of this conversation is for us to hear some real life stories, and of course for him to also reminisce. I'm like, Kayode, that kind of conversation is what we're having today. So share one or two memorable campaigns during your time.
When I joined Insight, Mr. Shobanjo had actually, how do I call it now? He had
Transited
withdrawn
from
direct work,
Got you.
on brands per se like that. But then I can remember that Econet then just started.
Okay.
And then he was also the supervisory director for GSK, the Smith Klein Beecham, where I used to be a brand manager, small brand manager. So we had some work on that. But what I will not forget actually was when we pitched Peugeot, we had a pitch of Peugeot. That's Peugeot.
Peugeot, yeah.
So of course our office is in Ikeja, but we had to do this pitch on the island.
Okay.
I can't remember that area very well now. And I think there was a strike that time, so it was a very quiet day. The roads were empty, and then we needed to do this presentation. So Mr. Shobanjo, and he led us. So that was one experience I have of him directly involved in what we were doing.
Okay.
Because then, as the EVC, it was VC.
Executive Vice Chairman.
Yes, it was VC. You know, some we call him VC, we call him BB, we call him Baba Pupa, we call him all of those names, you know. Yeah, so VC, you know. So, but he led that speech. He led the team. I saw him drive himself on Third Mainland Bridge.
Wow.
He was racing and I was racing. And people in my car were saying, that should be. Again, we call him
Shobi.
That should be. You know, and it was, but the point is, he outsped me on the road. Yes.
That's
so
interesting.
yeah, so we got to the pitch, and the way things that would have gone wrong, because he was there, we were saved. He used his maturity to manage and steer the process, so that at the end of the day, we came out shining, you know, like we never expected, smelling like roses.
Yes.
Another one is also National Bank. See, I can talk about pitches, really.
Yes.
Because, you know, at his level, that time, it was not like your account manager level.
Yes,
no.
I understand.
But you know that these are areas where now we're talking about business development.
Yes.
Which at his level was very strong in and at. You know, so we also had a pitch of National Bank. Shortly before, National Bank was wound into Wema Bank.
Okay.
You know, so we had this pitch at their head office. The lift was not working. It was we took about 4 or 5 flights to get to where you know. And Mr. Shobanjo was just firing. Now he was looking at us at the back, saying, "Oh,
what's going on with you?"
You know, and then, you know, he was able to try to shine and say, you know, he climbed the stairs and nothing was like. That day was a fantastic pitch day. Those of my colleagues who were at that day, at that pitch, in fact, it's even bigger than the Peugeot I was talking about. If I can mention him, the then managing director, you know, Mr. Iwoshika was there. BB was there. I was there. Many people, Okon, you know what, it was a powerful pitch.
Yes.
Then when you talk about, you see, this is bringing out the interventionist role he plays as the Baba of the organization.
Got you.
It was going to be a big debate between the MD of Wema Bank, of National Bank, and Mr. Oshika. It was BB again that came in to save the situation. You know, so 2 people who have strong positions.
Giants.
2 giants.
Yes.
MD of bank is saying this is the MD of Bale is
yes.
Bale was the MD of Insight. So views now. But I mean, the 2 of you are actually right.
Yeah.
You know, that's BB, but BB coming in there.
Yeah.
So those are some of the on-the-job things I can recall. You know, he has actually always been a stabilizer, you know, an interventionist kind of person, you know. And then we had issues and some things like that also on Econet. He will always come in to help us, you know, navigate very difficult situations.
Any moment of conflict with regard to his leadership style, any moment of tension you want to share?
Between him and I?
You,
generally,
within the system, yes.
Yeah, I think it was only once.
Yes.
I recall Mr. Shobanjo and I were almost going to cross each other's paths, so to say. If I have to say that, it's my Baba, so I don't know if I can use that expression.
Yes.
You know, so I think we were having some issue with GSK. They had become GSK at that time. And as I said, you know, the Insight ran this supervisory directorship kind of thing, in which case the businesses in the company were allocated to the senior top directors, you know, so that BB will be supervising, was the supervisory director on Nestle, an account that I managed. There was supervisory director on Smith and Beecham, as I said, GSK and all of that. So now, I think now there was that issue where the client had called in and they had said this and that, your people. And then, of course, maybe we were running late for the meeting and all of that. So I was just in my cubicle, you know, getting ready, group account director, blah, blah, blah. And then the next thing I saw, when it comes to you, and he calls you Mr., you know that there's a problem.
You're the second or third person
saying
that. Bala was like, when he comes, you say, they won't call him, what is it? They
call him Wosh again.
Wosh. You say Mr. Woshika.
Yes.
So that reminds me of that.
Then, so, you know, came in. He didn't even knock, he just opened. In fact, he didn't even say Mr. that time. He said, Kayode, now he came in Pelu Ejao. And I knew that, Omo,
There's problem.
there is serious problem. I stormed out of my office and faced the client's place instantly. Immediately. You know, so it would naturally not just cross your path unnecessarily.
Yes.
You know, myself, I think I've been also lucky.
Yeah.
I think I knew him enough to know what he would not
Exactly.
want.
I think that's so important, isn't
Yes,
it?
I think that is it. You know, so
To know what takes persons off.
Exactly. You know, so I think I avoided all of that. So, but by and large, I didn't have any tough kind of or itches too much like that.
Okay, let's talk about your work in the industry. And I think I should put it as impact, not necessarily your work, because you were also a past president of AAA, and he was one as well. What are some of the things you guys did, you know, him during his time, you during your time, that helped to shape the industry?
Mr. Shobanjo, BB, is known to be very strong on training.
Yeah, I've heard that.
On training, he's actually very... I don't know if I should say tutorial. He teaches.
Yes.
You know, so a lot of his legacy will drive from his role, you know, in the training programs of AAAN. I remember when the association also went into this idea of setting up an advertising academy. He was the chairman of the governing board and all of that for so long, you know, all because we recognize that when it comes to training, he's very, very active in that.
Fantastic.
And then again, history also has it, you know, because it's an industry. This is an industry I joined, you know, as a mid-career person. You know, it's been there before I joined, but it's in history, you know, that the AAAN house today, you know, Mr. Shobanjo played a very strong role in, I think, getting that place approved by government for us to have the secretariat of the association built on that premises.
Yes.
You know, so I would say, and then again, there is a way he also throws his weight, you know, behind almost every project that the association does. You know, I tell you that all my time in Insight, we were very strong financiers, supporters, sponsors, you know, of many of the initiatives and programs of AAAN. Talk about our AGMs, talk about the Life Awards, talk about whatever it is we are doing. Insight will always be there to play the big brother role. Of course, it's expected as the biggest and the best, you know, in the pack. You know, so that is that. When I got there as AAAN, I felt it was quite it was an honor, you know, to be where it's been, you know. So what I did was I also tried to extend or to push to the next level, you know, some of the legacies of him that I met on ground.
Fantastic.
If you talk about the academy, as I said, he went through a whole lot of issues. But you know, I if I have to blow my trumpet, I ran the first course on the platform of the academy as president. Issuing out certificates as like we attended this course, you know, we had a rector that time and everything. So the academy actually became functional during my presidency.
During your tenure,
Exactly. And I know that is one of the things very close to BB's heart. You know?
Fantastic.
So that's one thing I can.
Okay, so speaking about his legacy, just off of what you've just said, what do you think he'll be remembered for in the years to come?
People.
People. That's
myself.
A very,
Even myself, starting with me. When you talk about BB's legacies, I will throw myself out as one.
Yes.
Because you see, again, I said to you, it was with him I worked the longest, you know, as an employee, you know, to and of anybody.
Yes.
So, and that speaks volumes, you know. So, beyond myself, when you look at the industry, look at businesses that are making waves. There must be a Shobanjo, protégé, trainee, product playing big roles there. They are either the founders, the sponsors, the owners, the managers, or whatever of those businesses. I won't mention names, but the truth of it is just do the survey yourself. You find out that Mr. Shobanjo BB is everywhere in the Nigerian advertising, not just advertising, marketing communication landscape. You know, so I think his biggest legacy, to my mind, will be people. He built people. I must tell you, part of building his people, number one, he brings the best out of them. as I said, strict person.
Yes.
It challenges them to be the best that they can be. You may say, oh, tough, strict, whatever you say, but it's always for your good.
Good.
Exactly. So it will make you the best you can be. So training, building competence into you, and all of that. That is number one. Another thing about the people aspect of him. That is one man who I can say delights in the welfare, in the prosperity
And even in
of
your
his
success.
proteges.
Yes.
And the success of that is just it. After him, I worked with some people
Yeah.
who saw workers as deckhands,
Yes.
who saw workers or proteges as
Slaves.
slaves. You know, I'm a capitalist, you work for me. No, that's not
That's
BB.
not the point.
No, that's not BB. So BB is a man that delights in the prosperity
Yes.
of his people.
I'm going to have to absolutely agree with
Yes.
you, since I'm also one of his
Yeah.
products.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
he would even
people-
follow through with everything. you're doing.
Absolutely. Till tomorrow,
Yes.
he has his proteges, his former staff, all of
Yes.
that, who still go to him, who revere him seriously, who reference him, who
Yes.
up till tomorrow. You know, so that's the kind of person. He will sit at the table with you.
Yes.
Tough man indeed, tough man.
Yes.
But as I said, he knows how to
Balance it out.
that toughness, that strictness with compassion.
Yes.
Fantastic person.
Amazing.
So people.
We could talk about BB all day,
Yeah,
but we're
yeah.
slowly winding down. So I'm going
Yeah.
to ask you to
Yeah.
describe him in 3 words.
3 words.
Yes.
3 words. BB.
Yes.
And enigma.
Enigma.
Those are 3 words.
Oh, BB and enigma. Okay, you heard him. BB is an enigma.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Oluwasona. You can look at the camera and wish him a happy birthday. I'm sure you want to hear. from him.
BB, my Oga, my chairman, my Baba. So glad to note that you are 80. Definitely, you've played and made very significant impact on many of us, on the country, the economy, the sector, and everything. Today, I wish you happy birthday. I wish you fantastic years ahead. And I pray that all the things you have labored for will remain positive and will continue to be remembered for good for your sake. Thank you. God bless you, sir. Bye-bye. I said bye-bye.
It's fine. Thank you so much, Mr. Kayode Oluwasona. This was one of the most instructive conversations that I've had uncovering BB, Dr. Biodun Shobanjo. We hope you join us for the next episode. Thank you for watching.